Well, the interesting thing about me is actually I was actually raised in a Christian family, so I've kind of always known the existence of God in my life and in my family. And so actually I was actually saved at a young age, and the interesting about me is I got to know my pastoral staff really well, because every Sunday I would actually go back down and ask to get re-saved, because I always felt the calling when I was in my pew that God wanted to direct my life and use me. And so I would go down, I would get saved, and I would feel immense, and I would start out Monday and Tuesday, I'd make those changes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as a young kid, I started making, slip-ups, I started doing a little bit of backsliding. And then come Sunday morning again, I felt like maybe I really didn't mean it, and I needed to go back down and get saved. So the pastor of my church one time actually pulled me aside and he said, listen, he's like, we're actually running out of cards. You have to stop coming down every Sunday. And I said, well, listen, I don't think I really meant it, because I stole a pack of gum again. He's like, you have to understand, you're not perfect. You're going to sin. When you accept Christ into your heart, that's the beginning of your journey. He says, things are going to be a little bit tougher, because now you're recognizing the fact that you want to live a life as a Christian. So it was then that I said, okay, I didn't go back down every Sunday. And so I continued with my life, and actually as an adult, in April of 1993 is when I actually rededicated my life as a Christian, knowing that God was going to work in my life, and I took those steps forward to continue in my walk with God. When I was 18, I attempted suicide. I hung myself, and the difficult thing about that is because a lot of people think I actually came to Christ after that, and they don't realize that I was actually a Christian before that, because they would ask me, well, if you were a Christian, why would you try to take your own life? You're a Christian. You should have all the answers. And it actually wasn't the case. It actually made it harder for me, because I actually tried to commit suicide when I was 18, and I wasn't diagnosed with my mental illnesses of bipolar II disorder, ADHD, and OCD until I was actually 28 years old, which was 10 years after I attempted the suicide. So feeling complete hopelessness, I was making a cry out to God. I couldn't blame my parents for the way that I was, because they never knew how I truly felt inside. But the hard part for me was God. God was always there every time I cried. God always knew the pleas that I had in my heart. God knew that I didn't want to be the person that I was, and what I couldn't understand was, as a Christian, why was he not reaching out to me? Because I was surely reaching out to him. So I was tired of carrying that burden, so I felt it would be best for me to go ahead and take my life, because I wasn't being the Christian that I felt I should be, that I was convicted to be in my heart. So I took my life, tried to take my life. Obviously it didn't work, because I'm here. But God worked through my mom, and she found me, and they were able to resuscitate me. And although things were immediately hard right after that, I just knew that God had a purpose for me, because he's the only reason I didn't die. I wanted to die. My mom didn't save me. It wasn't the paramedics that saved me. It was God that actually reached out and rescued me. So all those times that I didn't think that he was listening to me, and the times that he wasn't answering my prayers, he was. I just wasn't listening. So that began another journey in my life of dedicating my life to Christ and working with other people to hopefully help them not feel like I did, to be strong men and women of faith. Well, one of the great things about Pervasive Hope is after I had attempted the suicide, I had to try to restart my life, a life that I really didn't plan on having, and I did that by joining the Navy. And so I was again committed in a church, but when I joined the Navy and went to basic training and was sent to my aircraft carrier, the USS John F. Kennedy, I lost that connection with my church. There was church community on the ship, but it was really hard to get in there and connect. And one of the great things about the Pervasive Hope campaign is that with being available 24 hours, 7 days a week, that's available, especially in my heart, to the men and women who serve our country that are overseas, that come back home, spend time with their families, spend time in the Rock Church, get connected. When they leave and they go to serve our country and sacrifice their lives, they're taking the Rock Church with them. The Rock Church is on that ship with them. The Rock Church is on that battlefield with them. The Rock Church is everywhere with them. And so that's, for me, one of the personal things that I really like about the Pervasive Hope campaign.